Welcome, dear Aries, whether you're a seasoned soul warrior or a freshly awakened cosmic rambler to Zodiac Talks Tarot, where the stars aren't just shining lights in the sky, they're soul mirroring guides that occasionally slap you with truth. And if you're tuning in right now, congratulations, you've stumbled into what might be the most important emotional upgrade of your fiery little lifetime. On June 1st, 2025, the cosmos isn't just giving you a heads up, it's handing you a scalpel and gently whispering, it's time to operate on that heart of yours. Now, before you run off screaming, "I didn't sign up for emotional open heart surgery," let me explain. Venus, the planet of love, connection, and let's be honest, a bit of pleasure, is conjunct Chiron, the eternal wounded healer. And it's all happening in your sign, Aries. That means this isn't about what's happening to others. This is about you. Your emotional wounds. Your ancient heartbreaks. Your tendency to dodge vulnerability like it's a group project in high school. And to make sure you don't skip class this time, Saturn and Neptune are also posted up in Aries, playing cosmic nurse and spiritual psychologist. They're stirring the pot and asking the uncomfortable questions. Are you still pretending you're okay? Spoiler alert, you're probably not. But here's the beautiful twist: you're not supposed to be. Not yet. This portal? It's messy. It's raw. It's personal. Over the next 72 hours, you may find yourself weeping during old songs, dreaming of ex-lovers, or wondering why your chest feels like it's being cracked open with a crowbar made of nostalgia. That's not weakness. That's your heart rebooting. That's your soul saying, "Hey, remember me? I have needs too." Your classic Aries armor, the one made of fire, sarcasm, and a dozen "I'm fine" text messages, is starting to melt. And what's emerging underneath isn't soft or fragile. It's real. It's tender. It's the part of you that's finally ready to stop fighting love and start receiving it. This isn't your typical spiritual fluff. This is emotional shadow boxing in your own ring. But the good news? You've got cosmic reinforcements, timeless wisdom, and a tarot deck cheering you on. And me? I'm just your seasoned astrologer host turned heart surgeon with a dash of Buddhist clarity and a well-worn sense of humor, reminding you that even when the stars are pushing your buttons, they're doing it for your highest growth. Stick around, Aries. This isn't the end of your story. It's just the start of your healing. Let's get one thing straight. Aries doesn't do healing like a spa day. There are no eucalyptus candles, no Tibetan singing bowls, and absolutely no bubble baths unless there's a battle axe soaking in there too. When Aries heals, it's not quiet, it's a full-blown confrontation between you and your past, gloves off, heart bare, and truth swinging like a wrecking ball. You don't tiptoe through emotional recovery. You charge. You don't light sage, you light the whole blueprint of old relationship patterns on fire and dare them to rise from the ashes. During this Venus-Chiron conjunction, your mind might drag you back into memories you thought you'd buried beneath 10 layers of bravado and sarcasm. You'll see that ex's face in your dreams, not because you miss them, well, maybe a little, but because your subconscious is calling a meeting. And no, it's not a reunion. It's an intervention. You may feel that familiar pang in your chest, that same old ache, and think, "Oh no, not this again." But hear me out, it's not regression. It's excavation. You're not slipping backward, you're digging deeper. You're finally peeling back the layers and asking, what did this really teach me about myself? And let's talk about those ghosts of lovers past. They're not back to ruin your peace, they're back to highlight the unhealed pieces. That Capricorn who disappeared like Houdini? That Gemini who turned commitment into an interpretive dance? They weren't villains in your love story. They were mirrors. Brutal, honest, and oh so effective. Now's your chance to look at those patterns without flinching. Were you always the one doing the emotional labor? Did you bolt the second someone got too close? Or were you the "I'm fine" really type who tried to love with armor on? It's time to ask the tough questions, not to beat yourself up, but to wake yourself up. Because real healing for Aries doesn't come from retreat, it comes from recognition. And once you see the pattern, once you name it, it loses its power over you. Remember, self-awareness isn't soft. It's your new sword. And wielded with intention, it carves out a path not just for healing, but for true, soul-aligned love, the kind that doesn't burn you, but matches your flame. Let's talk about what happens when your chest starts feeling like it's trying out for an advanced yoga class without asking your permission. You know the sensation, throat tightens like someone's clenching it from the inside, your heart feels like it's being squeezed by emotional tongs, and suddenly your whole body is wrapped in a weird, unexplained chill. No, Aries, you're not broken. You're not crazy. And despite what your fiery ego may tell you, you're definitely not weak. What you're experiencing is something ancient, something sacred, your body finally letting go of emotional debris it's been hoarding like a sentimental hoarder holding on to every heartbreak since high school. See, the thing about Aries is that you're built for action, for doing, for blazing trails. But the emotional body? It doesn't move at Mars speed. It stores things. It files every betrayal, every moment of rejection, every time you told yourself, "I'm fine," and then shoved the pain into your proverbial glove compartment and kept driving. But now, during this Venus Chiron healing portal, your soul's pulling the emergency brake and your body's the first to sound the alarm. So when your chest aches or your throat feels like it's swallowing unsaid truths, don't panic. Talk to your body. Put a hand on your heart. Breathe, not to calm down, but to come home. And then comes the mirror. Oh yes, the cosmic mirror of shadow work. This is where it gets juicy and a little uncomfortable. Because suddenly, that panic you felt when your partner didn't text back? It wasn't about them. It was about that day in 3rd grade when your mom showed up late after soccer practice, and your little Aries heart decided, "I must not be worth showing up for." Boom. There it is. The real wound, exposed like a nerve in the sun. But here's the thing, don't judge yourself. You are not broken, you are becoming. These emotional triggers? They're not signs you're failing, they remaps. They point to the parts of you that still need love. Real love. The kind that says, "Hey, little warrior, you've been carrying this for a long time. Let's put it down." Sometimes, those parts just need a hug, and if we're being honest, maybe a juice box too. So don't run from the sensations. Don't fight the waves. You're not drowning, you're detoxing. And as your body releases what your heart has hidden, remember, this isn't regression. This is resurrection. This is Aries healing, in its raw, unfiltered, gloriously courageous form. Let's talk about signs. No, not the "I'm a fire" sign, so I need adventure and spicy food kind of sign, but the kind the universe drops into your path like glitter breadcrumbs when you're knee-deep in healing and on the verge of giving up. Ever notice the clock hits 11:11 3 days in a row? Or a random song plays with lyrics that sound suspiciously like your last therapy session? Maybe you even dreamt you were battling your ex using a pool noodle. As ridiculous as that sounds, don't brush it off. These synchronicities are not coincidences. They're divine nudges from the cosmos, gentle, and sometimes hilariously bizarre, reminders that you're on the right path even if it feels like you're limping through a cosmic obstacle course in emotional flip-flops. From an astrological and psychological perspective, Aries is ruled by Mars action, passion, forward motion. But healing? That's not a linear sprint. It's a spiral staircase, and sometimes, Spirit likes to light up the next step with repeating numbers, déjà vu moments, or an awkward run-in with someone who hurt you 5 years ago and now looks weirdly shorter. These clues are like spiritual GPS recalculations. They don't scream at you, they whisper, keep going. You're not crazy, you're just healing like a boss. Now, let's pivot to something Aries tends to avoid like slow walkers in a fast lane, forgiveness. You've been carrying pain like it's part of your identity, maybe even wearing it like armor. But here's the truth, that grudge isn't a badge of strength, it's emotional baggage you were never meant to check in for this lifetime. During this Venus-Chiron alignment, there's a high chance you'll finally understand why that relationship ended, why that betrayal happened, or why someone couldn't love you the way you deserved. And no, it wasn't because you weren't lovable, it was because your soul was preparing you for something deeper, truer, and more aligned. Forgiveness doesn't mean letting someone off the hook. It means unhooking yourself from the story that you were never enough. It's releasing yourself from emotional jail, where you've unknowingly been the warden and the inmate. Compassion, especially for yourself, is not weakness, it's high-level Aries bravery. It's choosing to soften without losing your edge. And honestly, that's what real power looks like. So next time you see 333 on a license plate after a long cry, smile. The universe is still with you. And you, my Aries friend, are healing like the fierce, flame-hearted warrior you were born to be. Alright Aries, here's the part you've been waiting for, the reward after all that deep soul excavation, emotional bootcamp, and shadow wrestling. Once this Venus-Chiron portal has done its sacred work on your heart, you'll notice something subtle but powerful, your energy has changed. It's as if your heart went from buffering to fully upgraded, complete with a firewall against toxic nonsense and a magnet for soul-aligned connections. That old urge to chase? Gone. That craving to prove your worth? Outdated software. You're not hustling for love anymore, you're irradiating it. And the wildest part? That quiet, grounded glow of yours? It draws people in. The right ones. The ones who speak your emotional language fluently and don't flinch at your fire. Let's get one thing clear, Aries magnetism isn't loud or desperate, it's sovereign. It doesn't beg for attention. It commands it, without ever saying a word. You'll walk into a room and shift the frequency not because you're trying to, but because your healed heart just knows how to broadcast the truth. You're no longer trying to be the loudest or the strongest. You're just being the realest, and that is the most irresistible energy on the planet. And then, as this conjunction starts to settle, something even more profound happens. The world around you might look the same, but you won't feel the same. You'll notice the shift in how you respond to old triggers. That petty comment? You'll shrug it off with a half smile. That friend who always drains your energy? You'll instinctively take a step back without guilt. You'll be grounded, less reactive, and wait for it actually peaceful. I know, Aries and peace sound like an oxymoron, but trust me, even a warrior needs a quiet mountain temple now and then. The relationships that remain after this transformation? Those are the real ones. The ones that can stand the heat of your authenticity and mirror it back with respect. And the connections that fade away? Bless them and release them. They were just placeholders for what your soul is now ready to receive. You've done the work. You've shown up. And now the universe is showing you who and what is truly aligned. Here's the truth, Aries, this Venus-Chiron conjunction wasn't just some cute little astro event to journal about. This was a cosmic exorcism wrapped in a love upgrade. It cracked your heart open not to break you, but to free you. To peel off the armor you've been wearing since your first heartbreak and remind you that your heart isn't a battlefield. It's a beacon. And now that it's healed, or at least healing in the right direction, it's time to stop surviving love and start embodying it. So go on, Aries. Live a little. Laugh a lot, flirt with life like it's trying to ghost you, and say yes to the people, places, and passions that match your magic. You're not here for halfway anything. You're here to set the world on fire with a heart that's finally strong enough to carry the flame without burning itself out. And if this message hit home or sparked even a flicker of recognition in that warrior heart of yours, do me a favor, like this video, share it with another fire sign who needs a reminder of their radiance, and subscribe to Zodiac Talks Tarot for more soul-deep guidance, astrological insight, and the occasional cosmic kick in the pants. Because this journey, it's just getting started, and trust me, you're not walking it alone.